Are we live? We're live, everyone. What's going on? It's Zoa Hype here with some of his favorite friends. We have Gemma from Secrets of the Citadel, Jill Rowley, and a new guest on the channel, one of my favorite people in the fandom, Courtney Matza. Let's start off with Courtney, since she's our guest tonight. What's going on, Courtney?
Not a lot. Just finished watching and here hanging out with you guys.
It's kind of a loaded question right after an episode, isn't it, Courtney?
I know, it's a lot to process.
It is a lot to process. Thank you, Courtney, for joining us. She's one of the best mods out there. She mods for one of our great friends, Anton, who runs an amazing Facebook page. So all the link to Courtney's Twitter is and all that's in the description of this video. Thanks for joining us, Courtney. We have J.R. Rowley. What's going on? Geek Chat 1.
Not a lot, Kyle. Thanks for having me on again. We had quite a conversation about it this morning. We had some hits, we had some misses. It was a good time. Hi, everybody out there. Good time zone from wherever you may be watching.
I got to get the hype light in here. And then thanks, JR. Of course, like I said, JR's stuff is in the description. And my YouTube bestie, as always, my co-host, Gemma from Secrets of the Citadel. What's going on, Gemma?
What's up, people? Yeah, I'm good. I'm tired. It's 3:30 a.m. Yeah, let's get into this.
So
where are we starting?
So let's start off. We have a couple donations. Marvin Martin says Danny fears Dragonglass John. Give me a break. Thank you for your donation. Danelle Peoples, Sansa couldn't keep her mouth shut. That's true. We're going to talk about that. And we have Galassery talking about Euron Greyjoy. Tyrion just announced to Euron Greyjoy that Cersei was pregnant. How does Tyrion know? So we're going to talk about that too. And Marvin Martin, thanks for the other one. So let's start off with the start of the episode. That was, I think, some of the best music we've ever got in the show. Ramin Djawadi, Gemma. Wow, it was a longer scene than I expected, but the music made it worthwhile for sure.
I'm really glad that they took the time with that funeral scene. And I said this last week, I didn't want them to all just snap, get over it. You know, I wanted to see the emotion. I wanted to see the loss. And I really enjoyed the juxtapositioning of just the sheer range of emotion that we got in that first 20 minutes or so, you know, where they moved from being obviously sad and in mourning to celebrating, but with an edge of phew, we all survived, you know, and still remembering the fallen. It was beautiful, actually. I really enjoyed the opening sequence.
John's speech was awesome. I like that John spoke up in that moment, taking initiative to do that. Some people in the chat, JR, are saying that they cried from the scene, like Jorah and Theon.
It was really touching. I mean, you got to see the characters. For me, Theon's death was really touching for me. Like it fulfilled his story arc in a meaningful way for me. So that was good. I liked that he was quoting Jeor Mormont and using part of the Night's Watch funeral rite, for lack of a better term. I thought that was really great. And ultimately, how Donnell Peoples to honor our dead. Yeah, absolutely. How you treat your dead is a mark of society.
Thank you for the donation.
I think they did really, really well with it. I thought that scene was really good. Did anybody catch it in the opening sequence? The broken cogs inside of Winterfell?
The broken wheels?
Yeah, there was broken cogs inside of the trailer opening. I thought that was great. Like part of the Winterfell castle was destroyed, so you had gears still trying to turn, but they couldn't. I was like, oh, very cool.
So one of the wheels is broken, JR, but Courtney, as we saw, we'll talk more about the end of the episode after, which was the tension. Oh my God. Oh my, as Samuel Tarly would say. But yeah, what did you think about the first scene? The music, I thought the music, like Ramin Djawadi, we're so lucky, but that scene was just great. Like I said, there was a lot of callbacks, kind of like we got at the start of episode 2. We got some of the same feels, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I loved the touching moment where Jorah, where Danny kissed him on the forehead and where Sansa said goodbye to Theon. That really tugged on my heartstrings. And back to John's speech, I thought that it was really foreshadowing for like where the dream of spring is going, because he talked about we all set aside our differences to die together so that others might live. And he talked about those who come after. And I think that might be something that you guys touched on in your stream this afternoon, that you think that where we're going, the bittersweet and the hope for the future is in the children that are coming after.
Well, we got the reveal later on that Gilly is pregnant with Sam. So
yes.
So that was an interesting moment. And then, you know, Jon and Sam, obviously, we're going to talk about Ghost, everyone. I know everyone's upset about that. Trust me, I am too. But I know. We got a few more. Thank you. Jorah's loss was palpable. Definitely. 3:30 a.m. says Shadow Fox, but I'm staying up to watch. Yeah, thank you everyone for joining us. I think we got already 1,000 people here, so that's awesome. Thank you everyone for joining, and of course to our awesome moderators for keeping everything clean during this season. Me and JR forgot to talk about that today, but I wanted to make sure we got that on stream. Moderators, the best. Thank you. So Gemma, so what was kind of, we obviously got Jon speaking. We got kind of some new vows in there, like Courtney talked about. Maybe this Dream of Spring, what Jon was talking about. And all throughout the episode, we heard obviously Varys kind of throw in like, "Hey, Jon's demeanor is more tempered than Daenerys," which I found really interesting. But what did you think about? Because both sides were kind of divided. They're still setting up this divide, right? We had the North on one side, and then we had Dany and all her forces on one side.
She was such an outsider, and the look on her face when he was giving the speech and everyone was rallying around him.
Yeah. What do you think about that, Gemma?
Well, that was the theme of the whole episode, wasn't it? The theme was, what are we leaving for generations to come? This went all the way through. Varys finally did something vaguely interesting, which is very
you mean
about.
He swam in the water like a merman?
Oh, that was hilarious. I love that.
That's the first thing I thought of.
Jon talked about the next generation. Tyrion and Cersei, obviously, they spoke about the next generation. Varys talked about the next generation. This was the theme of the whole episode. What are we leaving for the next generation? And I don't think they're going to be leaving very much, because Dany has got a free pass now. She has held back and held back and held back, and that was her hitting the red button. She is not, but she's in an incredibly vulnerable position. Stood outside the gates there.
Let's talk about this. We're not going to necessarily go chronologically today. We're going to go over the points probably multiple times, because there'll be awesome questions from the chat, and I see super chats are coming all over the place. Thank you. So let's talk about that. So I hear like Ahmed, he threw a donation and he said that Dany's going Mad Queen, but let's talk about, like, do we blame her in this scenario? Missandei gets beheaded.
Is this more Dany's going Proportionate Queen?
Yeah. Missandei's been with her for the majority of her journey to be beheaded, and then Missandei to say Dracarys as her last words.
And Rhaegal.
And her baby.
And Rhaegal. Okay, let's talk about that. Let's skip forward a little bit, because we got
Jon loses a dragon and a direwolf. Wow.
Yeah. So let's talk about Ghosts, because thematically and symbolically, JR is interesting. Sansa said it. Hey, when Stark men go south, all right, we know there's a female Stark going there. When Stark men go south, they have problems. We obviously know what happened with Rickard Stark and Brandon with Mad King Aerys. We have Jon's going to King's Landing for Dany. But what about Ghost here, man? Is this him abandoning this Stark? Like, he's truly becoming a dragon by going south? Like, is he abandoning his direwolf side? Is that kind of thematically what they were trying to tell us?
I mean, we know that every time one of them separates from their direwolf, shit goes wrong. I mean, look when Robb penned up his direwolf during the Red Wedding, and I don't know. I'm nervous that he doesn't have Ghost at his back.
Yeah, same. And and Tormund. That scene with Tormund was excellent too. JR, what did you think about that? Was it? I mean, people are upset about Ghost, obviously, right?
Well, yeah, and I think people have a right to be, but my issue with it is actually more of a practical one, because they've literally been banging on it. HBO has been donating money for people who've adopted the Siberian Huskies and everything else. And then what does the main character with the last direwolf alive do? He gives it away. I mean, it's just bad choice on the part of the show and HBO. That was just a bad move.
Yeah, a lot of people are pissed about the Ghost thing. There's a couple of donations about Rhaegal. We'll talk about this. Christy Miller, is it hopeful to think Rhaegal is still alive? Oh yeah, he's dead. And then we have another one, Peter the Noble on the patrons of the channel. I'm so upset over Rhaegal's death. Yep, that is, yeah. And to be taken out by Euron Greyjoy is that's a thing.
JR, the hot topic pirate.
Yeah, JR calls him the hot topic pirate.
Euron is the hot topic pirate.
He's so badass in the books, by the way.
He's
in the books, he's insane. I mean, like, he's like so over the top, fantastically insane and awful. And it makes it worth reading. But this guy is something else, man.
Yeah, that was really interesting. We'll talk about Euron a little bit later. People are doing RIPs in chat. Rest in pepperonis, Rhaegal, I see. You know, the thing is like the showrunners are really pushing this. They had to push Daenerys into this corner, right? And her losing another child is like, okay, like Gemma, they're really trying to push this on us, right?
Yeah, and Cersei using the residents of King's Landing as a shield. Wow. Yeah, Euron. I wish they hadn't have made such a joke of Euron initially. What, you know, seasons ago, like JR said, compared to book Euron, these are not the same character at all. And they kind of established him, made him a bit of a joke, especially in comparison, but even just on his own, he was a joke. And now we're to see him as this big bad evil. He's no Ramsay Bolton, is he? Let's face it.
Yeah, no, Kimmy Jane also dropped a donation. She says, yeah, Ghost and Rhaegal were done dirty this episode. We're going to talk about Brienne of Tarth after. Kimmy, thanks for your donation. Yeah, it's, you know.
Speaking of getting done dirty.
Yeah, speaking of, like, I mean, like if we would have had some more setup with Euron and had some exposition with this character, this wouldn't feel as like, oh shit, Euron just killed the dragon. But, you know, obviously we're three episodes left. Well, now 2 episodes. And we're kind of at this point. So Euron's in big trouble next episode. I'm just assuming he gets absolutely flamed by Daenerys and Drogon next episode.
Or killed by Jaime.
Pardon me?
Or killed by Jaime.
You think Euron's going to get killed by Jaime?
It could happen. I mean, he went all the way back to King's Landing to save his sister, and now this other man is trying to claim ownership of his child.
So let's go to Jaime, because I saw a lot of people are saying character assassination for Jaime in the chat. Listen, I think that Jaime said what he said to Brienne to be mean because he didn't want her. Like, Jaime knows he has to kill Cersei now. That's how I'm looking at it. But some people are thinking, well, Jaime's really going to go back to Cersei. But once he sees what's happening, there's no, I mean, the Battle of King's Landing is going to be going down, right? Like, what kind of conversation is going to go down, right? With JR, just speak up. You want to talk about this?
I completely understand where people are coming from on this one, because unfortunately, and this was my complaint about the last episode, was character regression instead of progression. And that's what we're seeing with Jaime in regard. Now, could it happen that he kills Cersei? Yes. But in this moment right now, I'm kind of with everybody else. Like, that's not what I wanted to see from Jaime. He should be progressing as a character, not regressing and going back to Cersei. Now, if he goes back and he makes his intentions clear, and not that you want to like just give away the entire plot, right? Like, he's going to do this noble thing. But at the same point in time, he has to come to terms with the fact that she's not a good person, that she does deserve to die, that what she is doing is wrong morally. And he's staked his entire reputation on saving the people. Varys serves the realm, and so does Jaime Lannister, albeit in a slightly different way, because history is told by the victors, or who sees you sitting on the throne first. Thanks, Ned Stark.
But the different thing that we've seen from Jaime is that he still listened to Brienne and came to the north. So he still had that progression and still did that. And Brienne was there crying right in front of him, and it must have killed Jaime to have to say, because Jaime knows he's probably going to die, and so does Brienne. In that moment, that's the last time they're ever seeing each other. Let's be honest.
That's not. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a lot. So whoever wants to jump in on this one, we're gonna. Courtney, Gemma, go ahead.
I always firmly believed that Jaime was going to kill Cersei, but now I don't know. She's pregnant with his child. I think that is going to give him pause for sure.
So let's talk about this then, because Tyrion bypassed Qyburn, and then he said, for your baby, and then Cersei and Qyburn made it seem like it was Euron's kid, but now Euron's gonna figure it out that Tyrion, right?
How does Tyrion know?
Yeah, how does Tyrion know? Gemma, go ahead.
How do we know it's not Euron's?
I mean,
she could. We discussed this several weeks ago when in episode 1 where she did that look, where and we all speculated, had she lost the baby? Who knows? Who is we need Maury. You know, who is the baby daddy at this point?
We need Maury.
Yeah, but Tyrion hasn't been with Cersei for a long time. So Euron thinking like, okay, like sure. how does Tyrion know this information? That's a big deal, right? Like, oh, Euron's going to be like.
No, I get that. What I'm saying is Tyrion still thinks that she was pregnant.
No, totally.
Before, but she could have lost that baby and then got pregnant again too, Euron. It's a toss-up. Who knows?
I just don't believe Cersei, right?
But can I talk quickly about Jaime? Because I maybe I'm going to have to go back and rewatch that scene, because that's not how I read it. He said, I know what I need to do. And of course, he's not going to say, I'm going to go and kill Cersei, because that would just give away far too much. They're not going to do that to us. That's not how stories are told. You know, they retain that pivotal information, so it's more of a shock. But I felt that was Jaime thinking, no, I've got to take control of this, and I think he's going to kill Cersei. That was his intention, not going back to her. But that's just how I read that scene. And like you said, Kyle, I cannot believe I'm agreeing with you and not JR. What parallels I mentioned have we?
And me and Gemma's been my co-host for like 2 years. Okay, that's saying a lot, considering we're like best friends. All right, so that. People, and by the way, we have 2,000 people watching. Thank you for joining us. But continue, Gemma.
I think he was kind of being mean to Brienne to make it easier to do what he had to do. That's how I read the scene.
I agree with you 110%, which will be the last time I do this. Rest of the actually, we got so many donations. I'm trying to keep up. Glossary: the way Jaime left, Brienne would not follow. That's exactly what he was mean to her, and the connection that they shared. Wow, Jaime's death is going to suck. Kimmy saying, Jane says Jaime and Cersei die together. Poor Brienne. Yep. What about Bronn? We'll talk about him in a second. Little bird, Danelle Peoples. It's not Euron's baby. That's how I got it. I think that Euron and Qyburn were manipulating Euron in that situation. I think Euron's a total goner. He's going to get roasted by Daenerys. So yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. Well, let's continue. Courtney, you want to say something?
I was just saying, I hope that he gets roasted.
I think it's just going to lose an eye so he can have a patch, so we can have an even better Disney pirate at this point.
Oh, that's bad.
Just saying. I mean, Jamie's already got the hook thing down, so.
Yeah, Jaime could be a pirate technically because he's got the golden hand. So Cersei's got a pseudo pirate with Euron and Jaime going down. Yeah, but let's talk about Jaime though, because let's talk about the Bronn scene too. Highgarden, Jaime saying like, "Listen, we're giving a cutthroat Highgarden," but I love what Bronn said about cutthroat families and
clever. He took Casterly Rock in the first place.
So Land the Clever, that was kind of an interesting nod to Land the Clever there. What did you think about that, JR?
Of course, I loved that dialogue because it's absolutely true.
Gemma?
Yeah, he was spot on. What did he say? You kill 100 people and you become a lord. You kill thousands of people and you become a king.
So,
I mean, foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing, right? Well, what is that foreshadowing for, though, Gemma?
Well, king, queen, monarch. You know, Dany killing thousands of people.
Oh, okay.
Children screaming.
Let's talk about Daenerys Targaryen because she had quite the episode. Are they setting us up for Jon killing Daenerys Targaryen?
Possibly.
I think that's where we're
at least
headed.
We finally get something Nisa-esque.
So the Azor High prophecy still holds then? Jon saves Daenerys from burning King's Landing? Well, here's the thing, though. Cersei invited all those people in, like Gemma stated earlier. Is she going to place wildfire around the city is my question. And I got to think that there's more there. It's already there, right? But
did you not see on top of all the turrets, there were barrels piled everywhere. And go back and watch it. I swear there was a slight green tinge to all of those barrels.
And
I will take some shots and I will zoom in.
You know what? Daenerys's eyes even looked more green tonight. They keep on changing all over the seasons. And Cersei's eyes are described as emerald as a wildfire in the book.
Oh,
so
that was such a callback when they did that close up on Cersei's face. It was such a book nod because how many times are Cersei's eyes referred to as wildfire green text?
Tywin was implacable like a glacier, Jamie thought, but Cersei was all wildfire when the Tower of the Hand stuff goes down. I think that the tension at the end of the episode was amazing. I felt this episode the pacing was a lot better, obviously. Last episode was so chaotic, right? It was like, oh my God, we're absorbing all of this shit.
I don't know what you saw, but I certainly didn't see it.
No? Okay.
Because it was that dark.
I'm talking about this episode. This episode's pacing.
No, I know. I was talking about the last episode.
Okay, yeah.
I was joking. No, this episode, it did have really great pacing, and the exposition didn't feel like you were being spoon-fed. It was actually nice. We had some really great dialogue. We had some great callback, touching moments that we finally got. Sansa. You
called that earlier today, by the way, when we did the Geekend News on Geek Chat 1. JR's like, we're getting a Sansa Sandor scene tonight. And I was like, oh, man, no, it's going to be Arya and Sandor, which we got.
Which we got, too. So technically, we're both 1-1.
Let's just talk about Sandor Clegane right now and in both scenes. So let's just talk. We don't get a chance to talk about him too much. So
not anymore.
So Clegane Bowl, Arya's joining.
He said unfinished business. He's going to King's Landing. It's happening.
Clegane Bowl. JR, should we do it? Do we do the air horn right now?
I don't know. Do we, Kyle?
Let me take my headphones out.
The Clegane
Bowl. So that was really bad.
Yeah, you're not on sync with me, dude.
You're not on sync.
Anyway, so let's talk about Sandor Clegane because he was really trying to be by himself, just trying to have a good time, have some drinks. And we had that scene with Sansa, and Sandor really went at her, was like, this is what happened to you. And I was like, oh, damn, Sandor. Like, Sandor has always been honest. But Gemma, did you enjoy the scene between Sandor Clegane and Sansa?
I enjoyed all of those early scenes, the ones in the Winterfell Hall. Tormund was spectacular. When Pod looks at Tormund and he smiles and they're playing the drinking game again, that was hilarious. And Pod drank at the Virgin one, which was hilarious. And then, of course, Sandor, there was a lot of kind of coming together moments, but Sansa was long overdue. Everybody's basically wandering off to hook up, as they do after a big battle where everybody nearly dies. And then Sansa kind of comes over, and I'm sure JR got very excited at that moment.
I actually did. I was super excited.
It was really funny. Courtney, the Sandor Tormund scene. I loved her so much. And when Jaime went off to walk with,
heartbroken until the other girl came along.
Yeah, that was perfect. He's still a free folk.
Is Tormund the best comedy in the show? Can we all agree on that now?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Okay, everybody's in consensus
a little
on that.
weird at a party, but is that nonetheless?
Me and Gemma are agreeing again. This is going to be a weird stream. So, but let's talk about the Arya Gendry being named Gendry Barat, not Gendry Rivers anymore, being legitimized by Daenerys. Obviously, Daenerys, is trying to make this power move, right?
They actually said Rivers too, didn't they?
Gendry said Gendry Rivers to Arya.
He said, I'm not Gendry Rivers anymore.
And then he proposed to her, yeah. So what did you think about that scene, Courtney? Because Arya says, that's not me. And, a lot of people have been speculating.
Back to when she says to Nymeria, like, no, that's not you. And when she says in season 1 to her dad, like, I'm never going to be a lady. That's not me. And, I mean, we've all been wondering, are they going to live happily ever after? And
thank God for small miracles.
But I don't know. What if she ends up pregnant and
that'd be pretty crazy, I wonder where they're gonna go with Gendry's storyline. Is everybody just gonna come to King's Landing for a battle now? Are they just gonna use Littlefinger's jetpack is my question. Okay.
The question is, can Arya actually get pregnant after, I don't know, a half dozen gut wounds to the abdomen? She might end up being barren, but just saying.
Yeah, so Arya going to King's Landing with Sandor is very interesting. And then the conversation that she had, Sandor says, hey, are you going to leave me this time if, teasing that if Sandor gets mortally wounded.
Probably.
And she's probably, and then Sandor just laughs. But, there's going to be a situation. I'm really wondering if that, if that was just bashing us over the head with foreshadowing there, just telling us like, Sandor's going to die. I hope not, but we'll get a couple of super chats before we move on here. Janelle Peoples, Paul McQuay. We got Dario is in next episode's preview. I didn't see that. I didn't watch the preview. I saw it briefly, sad Seth.
But we will be breaking that down Wednesday on Gemma's channel on Secrets of the Citadel.
Yeah, we will live. So thoughts on Sandor? Clegane Bull's happening. That's going to be one of the fan servicey moments we get for sure.
We know it's coming.
And it's not bad fan service. Let's just be honest about that. It's going to be awesome. Are Arya and Sandor going to fight together is the question through King, because they're going to have to look. How are they going to get in there? Bronn talked about, kind of maneuvering through the city. There's obviously going to be this battle. Is there going to be like a covert mission?
Yeah, the covert mission is probably still going to be a go. You have Jaime's coming into play. Arya is known to be hanging out in the Red Keep and in the catacombs of it. But now I'm modifying Golden 66. Now it's Trojan Horse.
So what are you saying?
The Golden Company's going to flip on her, but inside of the city walls, because she's not going to go outside of the city. She's locked off the city to everybody else.
Like Mad King Ares did when he started.
Right, but they're going to flip from the inside. That's how it's going to go down. So a slight modification to Golden 66 theory, but it still stands that Golden Company will flip on Cersei.
So so let's talk about that, because the Golden Company, Euron Greyjoy did his thing. I have to go back and rewatch it again. Was the Golden Company with Euron, or was it just the Iron Fleet and the Greyjoys? I think there was some Golden Company, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe not. I have to go back and watch it.
Yeah, I don't recall seeing gold armor.
People in the chat
very clearly had gold armor for their inventory.
Yeah. So people in the chat, let us know about that. I can't remember that scene. Everything was happening, and yeah, I can't remember if the Golden Company, just the Ironborn. Okay, some people are saying Ironborn in chat. Yeah, holy crap, we got 2,300 people. That's insane. So where do we want to go next with this, Gemma? Want to rewind a little bit. Can we talk a little bit about the feast?
Davos and Tyrion?
Yeah.
Can we talk about Sansa squealing like immediately after promising she wouldn't?
Yeah, let's talk about Sansa. She had an interesting episode.
Yeah, she did. She's all like, Arya's like, I swear, and Sansa's like,
Yeah.
you know.
She was crossing her fingers behind her back.
Tyrion, right?
So what's gonna happen? I mean, I was surprised by that too. At the last section, she told Tyrion, and I was like, "That's a mistake." Right?
Well, I also like the way Jon was slick and sneaky and had Bran tell the girls as opposed to him telling them. So he sort of kind of kept his deal with Dany.
Yeah,
that was kind of weak sauce, though, don't you think? Like, unless they pay that off really big in the next 2 episodes, where he claims out loud who he actually is and how it came to be. Like, I can let this one go, but if he doesn't make the claim on his own, then it's like it's nothing, right?
It's going to be really interesting to see what's going to happen with Jon being Aegon, if it's even impactful in the end. I mean, I think that if Daenerys is just going to go on a rampage, which they're setting up, Jon's got to be the one to put her down, I think. So I think that's where they're going with that. But, I mean, I could be completely wrong on that. I'm hoping that doesn't happen, but... What's that?
I said it seems like Varys wants to.
Well, I mean, Varys is
all in on off and Dany. That came about really quick.
And what's up with them making this good guy Varys now that he actually just believes in the realm? Because in the books, it seems like that's bullshit. And, you know.
Well, he's a Blackfire restorationist in the book.
Oh, yeah. Which has ties to the Golden Company.
Big ties to the Golden Company.
So,
which we talked about this morning as well.
So is Varys going to try to get the Golden Company to flip? Is the thing, too. Should be really interesting. Because what's Varys going to do to make an impact? Right? Like, I mean, he implied that he wanted to try to get Daenerys killed or something. So at least.
He's still got little birds. He's still got spies. When they were at Dragonstone, or what? It was before they'd got to the gates of King's Landing. I can't remember exactly when, but he does mention that Cersei has let people within the gates.
Yeah.
That the small folk have been allowed within the Red Keep. So he clearly still has inside intel. And I was really interested to go back and really pick apart that conversation. I love the fact that Tyrion turns around and says, "We're talking treason." Like, this is.
I thought Grey Worm was going to walk in or something. Like, I thought they were going to get caught or something was.
Yeah, let's talk treason in an echoey hall and just assume nobody.
The Master of Whispers obviously doesn't understand how voices carry.
Yeah. I in that situation. I was like waiting for something really. I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to go back and watch. This episode is gonna be a good rewatch because there's all these different nuances and all these different conversations. There's certain things like Varys said temper, which I found really interesting. I'm gonna talk about that this week because Nisa, you guys know I love that. But let's get to a few donations before we continue the Varys conversation. Stargate, can't Dany just take the rest of Westeros and wait? Doesn't seem like it, unfortunately. Janelle People says Jon never agreed not to tell his sister's cousins. He got Bran to do it, which was really interesting, obviously. And Jenna says, sorry if this was asked, $20 donation. Thank you. The astrolabe, but did the astrolabe in the beginning of the show show the dragons burning King's Landing, or is that the wall? Gemma, you want to answer that one?
Sorry, I was too busy copying and pasting Mod Mary's comment still on Varys when he says it's not a secret, it's information. I think that line was really, really important. But can you repeat the question, please? Apologies.
So Jenna says, Jenna S says the astrolabe in the beginning of the show showed the dragons burning the walls of King's Landing. She says, I think it's the wall, if I'm not mistaken.
I did a lot of stills. I actually did a breakdown of just the new intro, and yeah, I interpreted it as the wall. Who else was disappointed? We saw those tiles obviously coming down and hitting Winterfell. I wanted to see that continue with fire towards King's Landing, and then it would have been ice and fire. So I was a bit disappointed that it's just stopped and that's it now. I wanted to see fire.
I thought that was really interesting. We're gonna continue with.
I thought on the astrolabe that it was the depiction of the loot train.
See, people are getting mixed up. We have to you have to really zoom in.
I was just throwing that out there. I thought it was a Lutrin this whole time. I haven't really looked at it though.
I thought it was the wall coming down, the red wedding, and Dany birthing her dragons.
Dany birthing her dragons is the multiple dragons. I believe that's what she's referring to. That's Dany birthing her dragons. Because then they showed the White Walker with the head, and that's that's in the first episode.
Oh, Scott McCloy's brought something really interesting up. The God's Eye in the next episode in the credits. So, since when was the God's Eye that close to King's Landing? Are they just taking liberties now? That's not. It's in the Riverlands. It's not. It's like literally on top of King's Landing on this map.
We talked about that in Friday's stream, which I found very interesting. Me and Blackfire. If you go check out Friday's stream, and I thought that and King's Landing is upside down. They had this. It looks really weird. I don't know if that's an oversight or whatever because things change and whatnot. But geez, you guys in the super chats, I'm trying to get to all of them so we could. Barton Campbell has 2 donations with only 2 episodes left. Will we get another flashback from Bran? We'll talk about Bran. Barton, I promise we'll talk about him in just a little bit. R.I.P. Missandei from Cap Buchanan. Yeah, that was a powerful moment. Let's talk about that. Missandei being one of the more innocent characters, Courtney.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely adore her. First of all, she's brilliant. She's been a friend to Dany all along. I really love the maternal relationship that Dany has with her in the books because she's just a little girl, which makes her that much more incredible.
She's like 8 or 9 in the books, right?
Yeah.
She can speak like 70 languages or some shit.
Right. Yep. And I mean, I don't hate that they aged her up now because the relationship with Grey Worm is actually very sweet and touching. And his face, he ran in the ocean screaming her name, and then he just looked like he was gonna lose it when
like 30 seconds later when I saw Missandei, I was like, she's dead. I just knew it.
As they said, breaker of chains, and then she's in chains. I was like, oh no.
JR, what did you think about this? That was the perfect message to Dany, obviously.
What Dany can give, Cersei can take away. So who actually rules? I mean, it was a great juxtaposition for the 2 opposing sides as it is currently.
Oh, yeah. Gemma will be back in just a moment. Did anybody want to touch more on the Varys thing? Oh, sorry, Gemma's here. Never mind. She's still here. I'm not passing it.
Sorry, what was the Missandei? Grey Worm.
Missandei and Grey Worm.
Yeah, because we called Grey Worm, didn't we? We said Grey Worm was dying last week. We said that was it. That's what that conversation was about. It was about Missandei, not Grey Worm. I mean, what's he? I know. I said that Dany's got a free pass now. You know, she went stomping off, presumably to get Drogon.
Yeah.
But I mean, did you see that setup while they've been dealing with the army of the dead? Cersei, I mean, well played, Cersei Lannister. I mean, I've got to hand it to her. Well played. She is prepared. We saw what one of those scorpion bolts can do to Rhaegal. And they are literally lined up. Yeah. I do have a question though. Obviously I'm no expert on scorpion bolts. Maybe you could help me out. But do they do a full 190? Or do they just do 45 either way? Because what was stopping Dany from going round the back and flaming the entire...
That's what we were saying.
Exactly. I
thought she was going to do that. I thought Euron was...
Why doesn't she just fly around and burn the ships?
Yeah, I thought...
I actually expected that as well. I thought she was going to go the long way around and come back on screen instead of... You know, they don't really show...
Higher and come down? I mean...
It looks like Euron, after that, smashed through their fleet, and that's why you get everybody washing ashore. So they cut that out, probably for budgetary reasons, and understandably so. But I would assume from what they were doing, naval battle, I mean, that's like Themistocles in the Battle of Salamis is what that really looks like. So he should have been running through them, which is why their ships were destroyed. That's my best guess. But with the Scorpions, there should be what we call 0 stops on them so that you can't use them to scuttle your own boat. If you can turn it all the way back to your mast, you can cause a lot of harm to your own ship. So in order to prevent that from being done to your ship when somebody boards, if somebody gains control of it, that you put stops in like that. Unfortunately, even in modern military history, there are forces who haven't thought that far ahead. The nearest one that I can think of would be the French in the Maginot Line, where their own guns were actually used against them when they were in retreat from Germany.
Let's give a hand for JR here. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to Geek Chat 1, he's been talking about battle plans all throughout this season, and he also has amazing content. He does amazing talk shows, talks about news, talks about Thrones. Link in the description of this video. Got to go check out my man JR, Geek Chat 1. JR's got a smile on. He's like, I was saving that for tonight, man. That was awesome. So yeah, I mean, Tyrion, we got kind of the nod to where he gets knocked out again. That was interesting, making us think that we knew that it wasn't going to be Tyrion's death, Courtney, but still, it was interesting nonetheless.
Yeah, for a second there, I thought maybe he went down, but
I think all of us kind of did. It was enough to make you wonder.
Yeah.
And you didn't see him immediately, right? He didn't just pop up right away. So I mean, it was good that you were actually worried for a second.
In England, they cut to a commercial break at that point.
What?
Of course they did.
So that was excruciating.
So you said the adverts for you guys are placed differently, and yeah, I mean, we just get the full episode up here in Canada, so yeah. So guys, we only have 2 episodes left. I'm gonna get a little cheesy here. I love doing this so much with my best friends live and hanging out with everybody in the live chat. Once again, let's do some shout outs. Liz Kopich, one of my favorite mods. Mara Jade Skywalker. We have Karen Richmond in the chat. Amy Collins, a writer for the channel. Hairless Oyster. I love that name. Peter the Noble, Holly Dragon, Process Drewski. All sorts of awesome people. Thanks for joining us tonight. I know there's lots of awesome content creators, but sticking with us, we really appreciate that. Let's continue with the conversation. What shall we? Sansa was intriguing. We can go back to Varys. Gemma, you're take over here. What do we want to talk about?
She's not really helping herself at this point, is she? I mean, she sang like a little bird, didn't she? Yeah. Let's face it. I love the Sansa conversation. I thought that was well needed. There was a degree of warmth there, even for Sandor Clegane, which was unusual to see. But, it's kind of like... maybe you ought to just suck it up, Buttercup, and just be the Lady of the North and get on board with this, But then, of course, just as she's kind of maybe thinking maybe I should, then, of course, Jon lands the Targaryen bomb in her lap, and she decides to pass that straight to Tyrion, and then he passes it straight onto Varys, and it's no longer a secret anymore. It's just a matter of time now.
I was wondering when that was going to happen, because we're in episode 4, and I'm wondering, okay, Jon, obviously the Rhaegar and Lyanna is a huge part of the books and all of that, and Courtney, who is wearing a crown of blue winter roses as we speak. Thank you for pulling that off.
By LMR that she made for me.
Very cool. And you got a San Rixian shirt on too.
Shirt from San Rixian.
so let's talk about Jon being Aegon. How much is this going to matter in the end now? Because Daenerys, oh my goodness, that conversation between Jon and Daenerys in the bedroom, that broke me. I don't know what to really say about it. I'll let you guys go first so I can respond, I guess. I don't know. Go ahead, guys.
I mean, it started out really sweet, but then she got crazy manipulative. I mean, she tried to come between him and his family.
Yep.
Yeah, the crazy ones always do.
God. It was I love you, but I love the throne more.
That was exactly what it was.
Said with tongue firmly in cheek, y'all. Okay, don't go freaking out in the chats. That was said very tongue in cheek.
Janet Lynn says a donation behind the episode of episode 4. Dan and Dave say Sansa has learned a lot from Littlefinger. Yeah, well, I think she's going to pull some Littlefinger shit in the next 2 episodes. Let's be honest about that.
I actually can't wait for it. I think she should be playing the game because she learned from 2 of the best. I think she's a lot more politically savvy. I think she does have envoys going to the Eyrie and going to River Run. Not at this point.
Well, we have the scene where Sansa and Brienne are speaking, and then Jaime comes along, right? So was there something being set up there? Obviously, Sansa was receiving information about Euron Greyjoy and that, but I don't know. There's something up with Sansa too, because even when Sansa sends Bronn Jon Royce off when Tyrion they have that conversation, she has a conversation with Tyrion. There's something interesting there for sure.
It was because Sansa knew that Cersei had Missandei. Sansa knows Cersei, so she knows Missandei's dead. She knows what Missandei means to Dany, so she knows what the outcome of that will be. She knows how it's all going down. She's got it all figured out.
And multiple people, I mean, everybody was saying, the city's going to burn. The city's going to burn. It was like saying the crypts of Winterfell were safe in that one episode. That's how, right? That's exactly like, okay, they're telling us that the city is going to burn. Let's jump on that, though. Jared, let's talk about Sansa. I know that you find she's a really interesting character, and she has something real. She's got something up her sleeve. What do you think?
Absolutely. She has a lot of political smarts and she's going to outwit opponents. What she said to Tyrion was very poignant and meant to be a barb to Tyrion. You used to be the most clever man I know, but now she is seeing the game for what it is and understands how to move the people and pawns around on the board. And that's exactly what she's doing. She's going to take advantage of it, and she has learned from the best. So we shall see it.
There's a Glassery. Thank you for the donation. Loved. Varys pointed out that Tyrion is drinking more. When Tyrion drinks, he's at his best. He drinks and he knows things. That's certainly interesting. Let's continue with Tanks-a-Lot has a donation in response to Sansa is toast. I think we're going to get a Robert Rhaegar replay with Gendry and someone. I don't think. Let's talk. I think if I were to bet money on someone surviving the series, I would go all in on Sansa Stark. That would be my bet, people.
Yeah.
Really interesting.
Go ahead, Courtney.
Even though she wasn't in the original 5 in George's outline, I think that at this point, I mean, if she's not Queen in the North, she's definitely Lady of Winterfell. We know that the North is in good hands. I mean, even Tyrion said I would feel better if I knew that the North was stable under your care. So, yeah, I think she's owning that position now. Bran doesn't want it. He said as much.
Jon doesn't want anything.
Yeah, Jon doesn't want it.
He says it almost as often as the crypts are safe.
Jesus Christ. Oh, man. Yeah. Something has to go down with Sansa. There's got to be a payoff for her character other than her just becoming Queen of the North. Gemma, you just nodded your head there.
I was actually thinking of Arya and Sandor. I know we've kind of touched upon this, and we're flitting all over the place. At this
let's just go all over the place. It's going to happen.
How it's always going to work out. But they have a fairly long journey, despite the fast travel options that seem to be going on. So, and even though they don't talk very much, they are going to have a conversation. And if they both reveal why they're going to King's Landing, they will discover that their individual missions actually align, because the thing that protects Cersei the most up close and personal is, of course, the mountain. So if Sandor's going for the mountain, then Arya can... I really don't want to see Deus Ex Arya killing Cersei as well as the Night King, though. I just don't think that's her job.
I'm willing to bet a lot of money that Jaime's going to be the one to do it or have a big impact, or letting someone else do it, at least enabling it to happen. I think that Jaime is going to be key in the downfall of the Cersei, like setting up some sort of trap, maybe. I don't know. Like, I think you're on to something, Gemma. I think they're going to have to do some covert shit while the huge battle is going down, right?
But I did enjoy the way that Arya kept everything so low key. She wasn't there during the feast. She wasn't there during her toast to her being the hero of Winterfell. She tells the Hound she doesn't like heroes. It's not her bag. I liked the way she denied Gendry. That was fitting with her character. It was sweet, but that's not her, and I'm so glad. At one moment I thought she was going to say, oh, that would be, and I thought, no, don't do that. And of course she didn't, which was in keeping with who she is.
And Sandor said, "You're looked upon as a hero now," and we know Sandor is reluctant to accept any affection. Like we saw Sansa try to give him some, and let him know he's appreciated because we see Sandor really isolate himself. So to be with someone that understands him, I think is Sandor Clegane. His arc is one of my he's my favorite character. But yeah. Let's continue on with the Sandor Sansa Arya thing because there's some people. There's Midnight Predator who says there's a bunch of people in chat, but Midnight Predator with the donation says Sansa and Gendry in the end. I don't see that. I think that Sansa's going to end up alone. She says thank you guys. But what do we think about Sandor and Arya? Someone jump on that.
Sandor and Arya riding back down south brings me back to what was it? Season 2 and 3 when it was Team F the King. It was some of the best dialogue ever. I love it. I want to see. I hope they get back to that happy little spot.
Maybe one more brief moment of that before.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, ultimately they're going there for the different reason, but on purpose. They want to kill Cersei and the map, so they're going to go on their merry adventure to do so.
We're not shipping Arya and Sandor, by the way, just so people.
Yeah, no,
are clear. People just get that clear in the chat. We're not shipping them, please. What? Yeah, no. Courtney, what do you think? What do you think Sandor Clegane's like? He's got to deal with he's got to deal with this one thing that's obviously affected his life in a very large way. Does he end up burning the mountain and killing him? Does he end up him and Sandor fighting? Arya and Sandor fighting the mountain together. I mean, she's got that spear like Oberyn. I could see some cool shit go down with that. Maybe I know it'd be fan servicey, but
yeah, I could definitely see that. I think that they make a great team. I think that he's fought for her before, and I could definitely they're both on a mission to go to King's Landing, but I'm still more fixated on the Sansa thing because I absolutely loved that dialogue. I loved the way that he said, like, he noticed all the changes in her. He said, used to be you couldn't even look at me, and
you're not a little bird anymore.
I heard you were broken and rough, and she said, no, I gave that away. And he said, you've changed, and none of that stuff would have happened to you if you had just come with me. And I loved the way she owned it and said, yeah, but without Littlefinger and without Ramsay Bolton, I would not be the person that I am today. And
I would still be a little bird.
Fierce, powerful woman now. She went through some hardship, but she came out of it a stronger person for it.
Stephanie, who just made a donation, brought up a great point. Sansa picked on Tyrion's fear of Dany, and she listens to her instincts. Sansa has certainly been doing that, even though she's not perfect at it. She isn't trying to betray Jon. She thinks Dany will get Jon killed. Yeah, that's a great point. She specifically pointed out, she's like, looked at, and because that's scene with Sansa and Tyrion was emotional, where Tyrion was saying, Sansa, look at me. Like he was trying to get information, but Sansa also sensed things within Tyrion, JR, right? They've spent time together. They know each other. But in this situation, Sansa lets it slip that Jon is Aegon Targaryen. And then obviously the ripple effects are.
Sure, well, she didn't. That was a calculated move. She didn't accidentally oops that.
No, I know.
That was calculated. Yeah.
So what are the reasons behind that is why I want you to talk about why do you think she let that happen?
Because if Jon sits the throne, Winterfell is secure and the North is hers.
Mm-hmm.
She learned from Littlefinger, right? We keep going back and talking about her lesson masters, Cersei and Littlefinger. I imagine what they want, whatever Littlefinger's little speech is to her that she ultimately uses against him. So, it's one of those things. Scott McCoy brought up a great question in the chat.
Yeah, let's get to it.
Do you think Bran will be the Night's King? I mean, he says, I spent a lot of time in the past. Does anybody have any thoughts on that one?
Let's jump into that because we have another donation up here. I'm going to find it. We will shout it out. I gotta find it. You guys are crazy. But
I'll get my quick tinfoil on it, and then we can pass this one around.
Yeah, let's talk about Bran because him saying being in the past is very interesting. And we talked about maybe the three-eyed raven trying to play this higher game of chess to, break the wheel, so to speak. So what's happening here, you think?
I think we're going to break the wheelchair wheel, and he's actually going to be the bridge to the long night. That's what's going to introduce us into the first prequel. I think it's going to go through Bran in order to see what the long night is and introduce that prequel series. That's what I think they're honestly setting up with that line.
That's interesting.
Do you think you think that we're going to get more of this Bran throughout the next 2 episodes? And because what is the third twist? Does it involve Bran, or are we going to get multiple big? There's going to be multiple moments that are going to be shocking in the next 2 episodes. We know that, right?
Yeah,
so
we're gonna get. So there's going to be some payoff with Bran. I don't think it's going to be as grandiose as we think it is, but they're going to use Bran and that line specifically. I spend a lot of time in the past. Don't feel sorry for me. I spent a lot of time in the past, or that line, and that's really setting up the prequel for the long night. We know that's going to be what they're covering in the first one. He's going to be the bridge or the catalyst to get that story started.
What's really interesting is we spoke about this a little bit earlier, and thank you, Darlene, for the donation. Gemma, what Mira said, Bran, you died in that cave, and the idea that Bran is still stuck in that moment, because Bran's been saying like, hey, I'm not really Bran, not really. The three-eyed raven being in Bran. I understand that it's a transformation, but is there something up there, do you think, with Bran? Like, is there, there's got to be more to it, right?
I think we would like to think so. And if there is, I don't think we're going to see it in the next 2 episodes.
Right.
I'm at peace with they're not going to tell us the things we needed to know. I remember going on A.U. Packmule's channel before the season even began, and he said, what would be the worst thing? What do you want to see the least? What would you hate the most? And I said, if the Night King and the army of the dead just get defeated with no explanation for their motivation, that is literally the worst thing that could happen. And there we go.
All right, we got a few donations to shut up before we continue. George Sartier, I'm not saying that out loud. Arya is who she is, but I love you, and you know that. You're one of my faves.
Arya just proved that she's an agent of the Faceless Men. You watched my theory come true, Kyle.
JR spoiled it for me. We love you, George. Thanks for joining us in the chat tonight, buddy.
I couldn't help it.
Yeah, Joe, we appreciate you, homie. John Johnson, thank you for the donation. Katie, will we get flashbacks of Bran living in the past? I don't know if we could maybe get one more flashback, but I don't know. I'm kind of on, it's wishful thinking, I think, definitely at this point.
Skippy Bottom has just said the pack survives, and what's just happened to the pack? They
all
split
just split
again.
up.
Interesting.
So you think that we could see some more Starks bite the dust in episode 5?
I don't think Jon Snow is living to the end.
Ooh, Courtney, what do you think about that? Do you think that Jon's dying?
I think he's already dead, and I think that
good point.
he's gonna serve his purpose, and unfortunately,
there was a lot of nods to the Night's Watch. Like him, that too.
I don't know. I don't see him living till the end. I would love it if he did. I just.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to think we could see maybe both Jon Snow and Daenerys bite the dust. That would be crazy. I think that they both might die, which would be crazy.
I think she's going out too because.
I'm pretty much on the Daenerys is going to die train now. I think she's dying in episode 5.
Man, you were on the Dany lives no matter what till the end train for ever since I've known you.
No, you've heard me talk about Daenerys die a lot. Yeah, you've heard me talk about Daenerys die quite a bit.
Yeah, no, on second thought, that's true.
Dude, over the past couple weeks, I'm like, well, maybe I can change my mind a little bit, but she's totally going to die.
She's dead.
Kat Buchanan, Sansa will not marry Jon. Yeah, I don't think a lot of people think that.
I don't think that's a thing.
Go ahead. Who was it? Courtney or Gemma want to speak up there? Let's go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think Varys is right. She's not going to share power with him. And I don't necessarily think Dany is the Mad Queen. I think that her reactions, if someone killed one of my someone killed my kid.
So could we have a
just terrified.
scenario? So could we have a scenario where Jon thinks she's going Mad Queen and then kills her in some sort of tragic way?
Feel that way, and I think Varys is already starting to feel that way, and Tyrion's having his doubts. And go ahead, Gemma.
This Dany going, can I just speak in defense of Daenerys Targaryen for a second?
I don't know.
Dany going Mad Queen. Dany going Mad Queen. Blah, blah, blah. Dany's going proportionate. I said this.
I agree.
Yeah, no, I'm arguing with Kyle. You know, she's lost 2 of her dragons, you know, and she talks about destiny, and then Tyrion says, you know, she walked into a fire and came out with 3 dragons. She's lost 2 of them. She can't have children, you know, everything she's been through.
Wait, who told her that?
She's lost, her best friend has just been murdered in front of her. She's lost the Dothraki. You know, she spent 5 seasons learning that language, and that was pointless. And she's got nothing. Did you see what she was left with?
Oh yeah, it was awful.
So if I was Dany, I'd be rocking over to Drogon at that point and flaming the crap out of everything in sight. She literally just killed her children. She killed her best friend. I don't think this is the actions of a mad person, only in the sense that she's
a super frustrated
angry.
person.
Right.
A frustrated person. That's why she said proportionate queen.
Yeah, exactly.
I just think we could have a scenario where Jon thinks she's going mad because of what they've experienced together. I just think something tragic is going to happen in the next episode based on Emilia Clarke's reactions and all these interviews. And it's just craziness.
Yeah.
She's proportionately angry at everything that she's lost and everything she's suffered, and is she getting any thanks or kudos for what she's lost? All the men she's lost, Jorah, Missandei, her dragons, all that she's sacrificed.
How many people in the chat actually want to see Daenerys burn them all at this point? There's a lot of people so panel, but people in the chat are like, yeah, I'm cool with Daenerys doing this. There's a lot of people that are saying, whoa.
And I think she genuinely does believe everything she's saying, that she wants to provide a peaceful realm, that she would be a great queen, and maybe the ends justify the means.
That is a dangerous slope.
Wow, the chat is going insane. We don't have a vote on. It's like,
I don't think she will end up on the
burn them all.
I just think she believes everything she's saying.
We are all sick.
Yeah. Wow. This is crazy. This is the most 2,400 people are here right now.
And everyone's saying burn them all with all the fire emojis.
They just Dan and Dave just turned everybody into the Mad King. That is insane.
How many fire emojis can we get in chat from 2,400 people is the question I want to know. I wanted to see the chat go.
Well, you're pretty much getting it, mate.
Maura Lee with the donation. Thank you. She says hyphen love. Maura Lee, my fave.
Jimmy, somebody, the chat's gone so fast. Somebody says you're all psychopaths.
Linda Procida with another donation. Sansa is going full Phoenix. Oh, Sansa's going Phoenix.
Yes. She's
don't trigger JR.
Holy crap, the whole chat, there's dragon emojis in there now. I'm loving it.
Wow.
Can I just remind everybody before everybody gets called out for being complete sickos?
Yeah, Lee Barrow just pointed out, if you wanted to burn them all, you're missing the point. I completely agree.
Fiction. It's fiction, people. Fiction.
This is context, all right? Context.
Yes, context is important here.
Context is important.
Still burning them all.
Wow. This is burn them all. They're talking about.
Now we got ice and fire rolling through the chat like it's going out of style. This is insane. Wow. Gasoline. Man, there's a lot more emojis than I even knew existed.
Yeah, people are putting ice
We
emojis.
never knew there was a gasoline emoji.
There was a gasoline emoji. I didn't even know that was a thing.
So we got another donation here from Dwayne Owen. Showed up late, was watching at a friend's house tonight. Do you think Jaime realizes only a semi-peaceful resolution would be for him returning home? So Jaime is the Trojan horse. Ooh, yeah, I really think that Jaime's going to be part of whatever trapper plan is there for Cersei. I think we talked about this a little bit earlier, Dwayne, but let's talk about it again because Jaime Lannister's arc is just so amazing.
Well, there was another question. There was another super chat that we actually missed on that exact subject. Hang on, I'll pull it up really quick.
Yeah.
It was right.
We're trying to get to everyone, by the way. I know we didn't get to all the super chats.
It was from Stargate 404. Do you think the Golden Company will turn when they see Dany? They've never broken a contract, but they are sworn not to fight a Targaryen or a Blackfire, which is in the same line because it goes back into the infiltration of King's Landing, which is necessary at this point, right?
Definitely. And like we talked about earlier, JR, and Corey and all of us talked about with Gemma as well. We talked about the idea, like what Jaime was saying, like what he actually meant, and the reaction he had on his face. The reaction was he was trying to not feel, or he was trying to push. He was pushing Brienne away in that situation because he didn't want her to follow him because he knows how dangerous this next situation is going to be. Go ahead, Gemma.
Garden Girlink says Brienne baby watch, and I actually think she might be onto something there. There's been a lot about Cersei. Is she pregnant with Jaime's child or not? What's going on with that? And then
the
we have the drinking game. Are you an only child? Was a question directed to Brienne. Brienne's having twins after Jaime dies.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
Wow.
I like it.
Gemma's throwing it out there, everyone, that Brienne of Tarth
Gemma's not only going all in, but she's doubling up the bet.
I'm doubling it up. The whole theme of the episode was the next generation.
The Dream of Spring, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which is going to be the title of the last book of the Song of Ice and Fire series. Ooh, Lord Twygo.
Did anybody actually catch the title for this? Because we get it after the fact.
Nope.
Did anybody? I haven't seen it.
What was the title of the episode, by the way? If chat can. Jeff
Somebody
Henry.
knows.
Jeff Henry, thanks for the donation.
Jaime and the crossbow.
What was the name of the episode? Because they don't release it until after the episodes now because they don't want us to speculate.
Maybe Baby?
Maybe Baby's not the name of the episode.
Maybe Baby.
Oh, The Last of the Starks.
The Last Starks?
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Last of the Starks? Holy shit.
How about the Rise of the Starks? Just since D&D are going to be going to Star Wars next.
Revenge of the Starks?
Rise of the Starks? I don't know.
Last of the Starks. Wow, that's a powerful Lord of the Rings over Game of Thrones. People are saying, nah, we're not going to go there. We got a couple more donations. Thanos said, as long as there's those that remember what was, there will always be those that are unable to accept what can be. Ooh, I like that Thanos quote. Interesting what John said about the future too, and what Gemma is talking about the future. So where we go? The Starks. That's an interesting title, everyone. What do we think about that? Because Gemma, you talked about the lone wolf dies, the pack survives, and them splitting up. Are we seeing a situation where we're seeing the Starks?
That was a goodbye for Jon, 100%. He left Ghost, he left Sam, he left Tormund. That was 100%. And then Sansa goes on about, going south, blah, blah, blah. Jon's not coming back. And Linda Pruister says in the chat as well, Arya's not coming back. She literally said it herself.
She's just going to go
I think she'll survive.
Yeah,
I think Arya will ultimately survive, but I don't think she's going back.
So she's going to go on her journey like the Lady Crane. When they talked in Bravos, they talked about what's west of Westeros. So we're going to get that kind of Frodo-esque situation with Arya, where she goes off where Frodo goes into the Undying Lands. We're going to have one of those Lord of the Rings, kind of George playing with that, an ode to that.
Speaking of George said, Angie says, hi, Gemma.
Hi.
Oh, nice. So what do we want? So have we talked about all the main points of the episode so far? What are we leaving
literally, it's a film, isn't it?
Yeah.
We watched a film and trying to make sure we get everything. I mean, Varys is definitely not a mermaid. We know that now.
Well, yeah, he is. He survived and swam over there. I mean, that's clearly evidence that he is a mermaid, Gemma.
So let's talk about this, because King's Landing was mentioned about being burned a bunch. The Mosh Pit God just made a donation. We had ice, and it's time for fire. Burn them all. So Song of Ice and Fire is, of course, the name of the book series for George R. R. Martin aptly named it. Are we going to see an episode that's featured? Well, we got episode 3, which Miguel Sapochnik directed, which was mainly ice. Well, we had some fire too. Melisandre was there, but is episode 5 going to be our fire version this season? I know Gemma's rolling her eyes at this, but is that what Mosh Pit said? Yeah, is that going to happen?
I'm actually rolling my eyes at some of the stuff that gets dropped in the chat sometimes, to be honest with you, Kyle. Not you. Once again, we are on the same team for a very unusual. Like,
this is good news.
Parallel dimension, I think. I roll my eyes before my eyes realize I'm doing it. It's like, oh, did I make that face out loud?
What are you rolling your eyes at? I would like to actually hear what you think is eye rollable.
Just trolls.
Okay, we deal with those. And by the way, moderators are keeping it nice and clean. I'm loving.
Absolutely.
Is everybody having a good time? I hope you are, because we're having some fun.
The mods are spectacular.
Kimmy Jane has a donation. Let's talk about the Sansa says Stark men don't do well. We just talked about that. Yep. Jon is a Targaryen as well, though. Yeah, but Targaryens also have problems too, it seems.
All of the Targaryen problems seem to emanate from King's Landing. Weird.
Still half Stark. His mother was a Stark. That makes him half Stark, whether he has the name or not.
Jeff Henry, Jon's body will be brought back to the north of the wall where maybe Ygritte was, and Tormund, Jon will see Tormund and Ghost again, so he can be free. Oh my God, that would be crazy.
Without Ghost, that means he doesn't get a second life either. Although I suppose he's kind of on it now anyway. But yeah.
Some people are going on about the Night King Arya throat thing. Mama Jenny girl says, "What if Arya is loosening her shirt to reveal Mark?" I don't think the Arya. Thank you for the donation, by the way, Mama. I don't think the Arya the Night King thing. I think that's completely dead. Unless there's something with Bran, he becomes it. That's Arya's not becoming the Night King, or she's not marked. I don't think. We're in agreement with that panel.
Yeah. I don't think that's happening. I think that it has to be intentional. Like when he lays his hands, it's not enough to just touch. I think he has to actually mean.
Well, and when he touches Bran, it's also in the astral plane that they coincide on. So it's not necessarily a physical touch when he got the mark. It was the melding of the minds, so to speak, right?
Linda Presida has something interesting. I think this was mentioned by someone else in the chat as well. Jaime's look when Dany says Gendry is Robert Baratheon's son. Will he tell Cersei? Some people have been mentioning that. You want to jump on that, Gemma or Courtney?
Courtney,
go ahead.
I want to touch that one. Maybe the show will make Gendry Cersei's trueborn son.
No.
But the Maggie the Frog prophecies pretty much rule it out in the books.
Some people are harping on what were the black hair thing, the Cersei when she talked about that. The black
haired babe. He was taken from my arms.
Yeah.
No, I think that look from Jaime was just what? Which is fair.
Shit's going down. Thank you, Linda. Again, Linda has been super generous and donated many streams. Linda, we appreciate you. Tara says maybe our bittersweet ending is that humans live and continue to be human, no wheel. Yeah, Tyrion talking about monsters and the humans being worse than the White Walkers, and everybody's been saying, "Hey, the army of the dead's defeated," but that is an interesting thing that we need to talk about, because the children of the forest were getting slaughtered by men, which was why they created the Night King. And this whole idea of this theme of power that is central throughout Game of Thrones. We need to talk about that a little bit, I think, because that was a really interesting mention, right, Courtney?
Yes. He said we dealt with the monsters and now we have to deal with us. Just I guess we are the monsters.
Well, that was Davos and Tyrion, wasn't it? We've defeated the monsters. I think that was them.
That was Davos and Tyrion, yeah.
Yeah, Tyrion and Davos were talking back and forth about that.
Because Davos was also mentioning Melisandre, and Tyrion was asking why, she always like faded to dust. She was super old. How did Dany find out about Gendry Baratheon? She's
maybe
informed.
Jon told her in private.
Yeah, I don't think there's too much with that Gendry thing. I think Euron will kill Cersei over the baby. Yeah, some people have said that maybe JR that Euron is the Valonqar.
Completely possible. He is a younger brother. It certainly fits. I don't hate it if it happens. At least it's a younger brother. Question mark. Don't know.
Question mark. Yeah, I think that Jamie and Arya are the best candidates for that, and it's going to be one of the two of them, right? The whole Green Eyes thing, people are really on that because of the Melisandre deal, but I think that the situation we got with Brienne, I think Jamie's going to kill Cersei. That's just
and it's so heavily foreshadowed in the books and the Valonqar, and she thinks it's Tyrion, but I mean, I don't know. A lot of theories are going to be blown out of the water.
Oh yeah.
What are you talking about? They already have been
10 years of people saying that Jamie is the Valonqar.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. And some of that was discussed in this episode, which is funny enough.
2 episodes left to find out.
I did find it really interesting that Varys did say temper. And when he was talking about Jon and Daenerys, Azor Ahai tempers his blade. Nissa, his wife, is a sacrifice. I don't know. It seems like they were like shitting on prophecy again, and kind of in that moment, that was like them, like, "Hey guys, prophecies are shit." I don't know. It's kind of what I felt like. Yeah, go ahead.
In the every time.
I don't know why I changed my voice for that, but that just happened. Varys saves the realm by convincing the Golden Company to back Jon. I mean, I don't know. I think Varys is going to die. This is a question of how it happens.
He has a role to play still, I think.
Maybe he can collect his wizard in a box. I'm not going to let that one go ever, guys. Sorry, I cannot let that one go. I need to know what the wizard in the box is doing.
The root and stem thing is interesting because obviously Varys was cut root and stem in what we're talking about right now. And I think that's another thing that made him feel even more uneasy when Daenerys said it, right? He was like, okay, like she talks about wanting to get rid of tyrants but he was there during the reign of the Mad King. So he's obviously seen some things, right? But it'll be really interesting.
Yeah, he's the one that told the Mad King not to let Tywin Lannister in. Why would he choose to keep a madman on the throne, knowing full well that he's mad?
Definitely.
That's kind of a weird thing with him, right? That's the one thing that kind of throws a wrench into the, for the betterment of the realm, right? Because
like everyone thinks that Barristan is this golden hero, but I mean, he stood by and watched all of that as well. Defended his king and then sold him out for the next king.
Well, right. That's meant to be the complete juxtaposition to Jaime, right? Because, he tries to uphold all the things that Jaime says you can't. It's impossible.
They make you swear and swear, yeah.
Was it with Sir Wet Gemma or with Hightower where Jaime was he was like, listen, I don't like what's going on, and then they said you have to serve your king. I can't remember which one. It was Hightower. It was Sir Gerald Hightower. Yeah. And he scolded Jaime. He was like, no, we got to serve the king. And Jaime was like, I don't like what's going on here in King's Landing. So for Jaime to see that she stashed wildfire everywhere, yeah, Jaime's going to have to deal with Cersei in the next episode. Betty Squirrel Patrol, thank you for the donation. Go ahead. Sorry.
I don't think she's going to let it go without a fight. Like, I think that if Cersei feels like she's losing, she has no qualms about blowing everybody up and taking them all with her.
Let's talk about that. Like, Cersei would if she could be immortal and sit the Iron Throne forever, she would do that. But obviously she's not wanting anyone else to have it after her. So I think there's a scenario where she does commit suicide in some sort of way. Is that burning the city to the ground? Daenerys' House of the Undying vision. Like, is that going to come to fruition in the next episode, right? We saw a burnt red keep, guys.
I think this wildfire is. I think wildfire is stashed in that area that she herded the people into the Red Keep. I think Cersei is going to blow it up and blame it on
Danny's
Dany.
gonna light it with the dragons.
She's going to blow it up and blame it on Dany and try to frame Dany as a tyrant. That would make sense.
That's the smart play.
I'm just wondering how next episode is going to go down, because in the teaser trailer it looks like they're at Dragonstone again, so they're kind of moving back and forth. And then we see Jon at the gates of King's Landing with everyone else. So I'm just really wondering how this next episode is going to play out. We got an 80-minute episode, but so much has to go down, right? And we know that they have 600 extras that they use just for this episode. So
I think the next episode's going to open up with Dany going for Drogon and then turning around and watching the wildfire, and then they're going to have to go back to Dragonstone, and Cersei will be all like, look what this terrible woman came and did to all of these people I said.
So right immediately after, Gemma?
Yeah.
Wow, that would be
So you're
crazy.
saying we're going to get a hot opening?
Yeah.
That's insane. What do you think about that, Courtney and JR? Because we're gonna literally next episode, it's gonna follow Daenerys going to Drogon, and then we're gonna have a reaction that Cersei has lit the wildfire right after she killed Missandei. Another step to her kind of master plan.
I mean, even if Cersei doesn't light it, dragon fire and wildfire doesn't seem like a very safe combination.
Oh, it's definitely not.
It's gonna burn.
The King's Landing is in the promo posters. Gendry was the only one not pictured on the Iron Throne. People keep on going on about Gendry. Mama, do we think that Gendry has a chance to go on the Iron Throne at all? I mean, if Jon and Dany are gonna, he was set up as Lord of Storrs End. They talked about Rob Baratheon in this episode. Is there a possibility of Gendry claiming the Iron Throne?
Maybe.
JR, Gemma, what do we think about that?
Maybe.
Yeah. We can only speculate.
Possibilities.
And we can only speculate and say, yeah, maybe. Thank you, Mama, again for the donation. Yeah, those Thrones posters, they were just promotional. I mean, the Night King was sitting on a throne. So,
a throne, yeah.
So it was just to get hype up for the season. So let's, Gemma, you got what? It's like 5 a.m. for you.
It is.
How much
Somebody
you got?
said earlier on that I wasn't as giddy as usual or something along those lines. It's 5 a.m. I'm certainly nothing like giddy right now. So yeah, give it another 5 or 10 minutes so I'll have to bounce. But by all means, continue, guys.
Yeah, totally. Where should we go from here, panel? Does anybody have a suggestion? Where should we go?
Well, there's a couple of super chats that came through. PC Gemini, I think the Second Sons are going to save Dany. Maybe next trailer. Dragon noises, Euron is scared, Rhaegal back out of the water is kind of what's being alluded to. Maybe.
I think I think this is Drogon. Danny's going to kill Euron.
No, I saw somebody in the chat also posted, I'm sorry I didn't catch the name next to it, but if Qyburn reanimates Rhaegal, and I was like, oh God, no.
That's going to be some mission to get
that. I can't even imagine what people would talk about. Where did he get the chains that go down to the bottom of the ocean? Like, I don't even want to go there. Like,
no, we're not.
I'm pretty sure Rhaegal's just going to head and be dead.
There's going to be no chains.
And KT Main, Golden Company, flip on or Euron turn, next big twist. I agree. A whole theory on that one.
I would like to see it happen. It would at least pay homage to the theories in the books that, the Golden Company has a long-standing pact with the Blackfires. And I mean, I fully think that in the books, they're going to follow Fagon. I don't think he's the real Aegon.
Yeah, no. Yara. Yara, we didn't see her, and she's got
I'd love to see her take down Euron.
Right. She was mentioned as taking back the Iron Islands, right?
Yeah.
So that's...
They even mentioned the new Prince of Dorne. Who do you think that might be?
I don't think it's going to be... I don't think there were...
You think it's just made up and it was just a reference? Because
I just don't even think we're going to see this person. We'll just see Dorne's army. Probably. Is what I'm kind of expecting from it. Didn't Casey says, didn't Mad King stash Wildfire over King's Landing? Oh, yeah, he did. He stashed it everywhere.
Unless the new Prince of Dorne is Quentin Martell and we're going to see him say, oh, and get burned by a dragon.
No, okay.
That would be almost like hoping for old and young Griff just to be in Golden Company somewhere. Like, it'd be great, but it is not going to happen.
I know. I saw somebody suggest that young Griff might be secretly Harry Strickland, because that Harry Strickland is way too
handsome to be homeless Harry.
Kendall to play Harry Strickland, and all he does is moan about his bunions. He's just not that hot. So I would
I mean, he has to do something. He's only had one scene. He's got to do something this season.
Yeah, there's just a couple episodes left. I think
Two.
They've just dropped a lot of plot points, and that's okay, you know. It'll give us more excitement to read about.
So Gemma, it's the end of her watch this evening. It is 5 a.m. UK time for Gemma. Let's give a round of applause for Gemma.
It is officially light outside. The sun has risen.
And also JR is also going to be going to bed, but I'm going to stick around for a little bit more. Courtney, you can stay with me and we can entertain you for a little bit longer. But if it's too late for you, Courtney, the man is Hype can stay for a little bit longer.
I'll hang out with you for another minute.
All right,
Yay.
chat. We got 2,300 people here. We're going to continue the show for a little bit just because you guys and gals are so awesome. But let's do a little sign on for Gemma and JR. Gemma, what's next for you?
I will go to sleep and then I will do a review of the episode. There's actually a lot to get into this one, so I'm really looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to rewatching and really picking it apart, because there was a lot of dialogue, a lot of character development, kind of back to what we need, you know, something I can really get my teeth into. You know, telling people this person nearly died 400 times does not make for an interesting review. So this one's going to be much better. But more of the usual. We're back on my channel on Wednesday for a live stream, and we're going to talk about the trailer for next week. So I'm going to sign out and go to bed.
So Gemma's leaving, but all the links to her channel, all that in the description of this video, will be live on her channel. Thanks for joining us, Gemma. We really appreciate you, my YouTube bestie. And then we have JR from Geek Chat 1. Man, what's next for you, homie?
Be with you guys Wednesday on Gemma's channel as we break down the trailer and everything else. And of course, Sunday you can catch Kyle and I at 1 Eastern for Geekend News. We cover geeky topics from all over the realm, not just Game of Thrones, but the last hour is pretty much Game of Thrones because it's the biggest elephant in the room right now, unlike Cersei's army. So, yeah, you can always catch us there. This week, I might have another video up. I don't know. Everybody kind of wants a battle of King's Landing, what it's going to look like. And I think I have a pretty good idea of what it's going to look like this now, in conjunction with the video that I just dropped today. So, yes, go check out Golden 66. I'm sure Kyle has the links somewhere, anywhere, everywhere. Kyle's awesome with links always. So, thank you, Kyle. Really appreciate it. Courtney, good to see you as always.
You too,
and go out there and be a good geek, y'all.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, JR. Like I said, if you want to check out JR, all you awesome people, the links are in the description of this video if you want to check out more Thrones content. But now there were two. Courtney, it's me and you. And JR signing. JR just left. It's just me and you, my lady. What are we going to do here? We still have 2,000 people here. We have to entertain them somehow.
Oh, my goodness.
Let's talk about some things. I'm loving how, by the way, thank you everyone for joining us. We had like 2,400 people. That's just absolutely shocking to me. But let's talk about a little bit about next episode. Let's do a little bit of an episode preview for next episode. How about that? So we talked a lot about episode 4. What are some of the things that you think are going to happen in the next episode?
Ooh. Well, I mean, obviously, I think Clegane has been foreshadowed, definitely. I think Arya and the Hound are going to King's Landing. I think she's going to try to knock some more people off her list.
We could see a situation where she doesn't get far enough as like she wants to, like Jon did in the Battle of Winterfell, though, and other people, I could see maybe kind of a situation like that happening because they already gave Arya killing the Night King. So I could see a little situation like that where maybe Arya doesn't accomplish as much as she wants. And I could see a situation if the Clegane Bowl is going to go down that Sandor says, hey, this is my fight. Can you see that maybe happening if he's like, listen,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think maybe JR said this afternoon that he thinks that if he kills his brother, it's going to be more of a mercy killing. But I don't necessarily like, I think the Sandor that we have in the show is still set on vengeance. I think he's still pissed at his brother and he wants to take him out. I really hope that in the books he gets his like quiet grave digger on the quiet isle. Like
I guess like a house or something. Like he gets like his little quiet cove somewhere.
Yes, like the Hound is dead. Sandor Clegane gets to live out his life in peace. I want that for him, that redemption arc. But I don't think he got that in the show. I think he's going after his brother and he's going to take him out.
It's going to be really interesting to see what happens with that because, I mean, obviously Sandor is a character that gives us comedy, but also it has crucial conversations with people about life because he's one of our moral compasses. He's one of our moral compasses, even though he's a dick, you know? So I love Sandor. That's why he's my favorite because he's honest.
Yeah, George loves playing with that true knight trope. So, I mean, you know, Jaime killing the Mad King, Brienne being a true knight, even though she was a woman, and Sandor being no knight, but being the truest knight of all sometimes.
I'm going to do a couple shout outs in chat. We got Raise the Alba, another great YouTube content creator. Always trying to recommend people to go check out more awesome content creators. I think Joe Magician and Indeep Geek are also awesome. We have Jamie McKenna in chat. Mama, thank you for your donations. Catty Cat Master, Samantha, Steph, Hunter, Diane, so many awesome. Living on a Prayer. Thank you all for joining us once again. Yeah, I think it's really interesting to see like who's going to survive. Like George says bittersweet, but that George R. Martin's definition of bittersweet and what's going on in the show, it's going to be really interesting to see because we talked about the original outline earlier, the idea that Daenerys, Jon, Bran, Tyrion, and Arya were the original 5 that were supposed to survive. I think he's changed that. I think that we're going to see maybe a couple of those people bite the dust. Out of those people, who do you see a sweet ending, more of a sweet ending happening for?
Well, I don't know about a sweet ending. Like, I don't necessarily want to see the whole happily ever after. Like, I think that for Arya and for Sansa, like being powerful, independent women is a fitting ending for them. I don't see them like getting married and living happily ever after. That would be too Disney for me.
Same.
I think Jon might die. Like I think he's already dead, and you know everyone else that has been resurrected, it's been until they fulfill a purpose. So but maybe what he wants is rest and peace. Like he's had to take on all of these responsibilities that he never wanted. He said, if I die, don't bring me back. Like, maybe for him that is his bittersweet ending. But
we also heard Alistair Thorne say, you'll be fighting these wolves forever, Jon Snow. So maybe there's a situation where he like, I don't know, like if he kills Daenerys, he's killing a queen or someone that's at least saying that they're the queen. So that's an interesting scenario. So I could see, I think Jon's going to have an unhappy ending because shit's going down. And I mean, shit's hitting the fan, people. Like, I can't believe we only got 2 more Game of Thrones episodes left, by the way. So let's talk about this. We got a donation here. Dany must die along with her self-righteousness, who prevents like the things she said. Thank you for the donation, by the way. I don't know your name. It's just a bunch of asterisks. But what do you think about her manipulating Jon like that and asking her to tell this thing to no one? Like that was really messed up.
Yeah, I mean, trying to come between him and his family. I don't know. Like, I love Dany.
Yeah.
But I just felt like I said earlier, she was like, I love you, but I really care more about.
Yeah, I mean, Gemma went on a pretty good rant about defending Daenerys, but she also did some really questionable shit too. You know what I mean? Like things that I was like really taken back by, especially the stuff with Jon. You know, like, and she's right. She's right about a lot of things, but in some things she's completely off the mark about. So it's it's really interesting to see where her arc is going. We're going to take a few more questions, and then we're going to send you over to someone awesome. Is there anything like the episode? You enjoyed it? You enjoyed this episode, Courtney?
I do. I started reading the books first, and I definitely used to be on the like books are better train. And yep. I mean, I think that we get so much more depth and character development from the books, and I appreciate that. But I'm also an artist, and I'm a very visual person, and I respond. Like last week's episode, Brendan Beefish is a good friend of mine, and he did this entire battle analysis of military strategy and why, it was a flawed battle plan. And I get that. Like, I can read that, I can be engaged by that, but at the same time, it was just so visually appealing, and I was on the edge of my seat the entire time, and, I was just like hanging on every scene, and I like the visual spectacle. Like, I enjoy seeing all of my characters come to life on the screen. So it's suspended disbelief. Like, if we could grant it to Shakespeare, I can grant it to George R.R. Martin.
Oh man, this has been a really wild ride, right? Like, we're at this point now where we know there's only 2 episodes left. We know a certain amount of things have to happen, and it's just everybody in chat. It's crazy that we're here now. We waited so long for this to happen, and now we're here. Oh my goodness. Paige Roberts, your super chat. We missed a couple. I'm super sorry we didn't get to all of them. You guys were so hyped tonight. My God, I've never seen anything like that.
My favorite was still when it was just like burn them all and fire emojis for like 100 comments.
Our record on the channel was 1,600 live people. We had 2,400 live people, just to put that in perspective. Okay. What was your question, Paige? Can you repost this so I can see it? Stephanie Casey, I was happy that Sansa called out Dany about this war. It's not just wasn't just the Norse war. What do you like? Is Sansa a dark horse for the Iron Throne, you think?
For the Iron Throne? I don't know if I even necessarily believe that anybody's going to end up on the Iron Throne.
Like, it might get melted down?
I think it's going to burn. I'm rooting for Sansa. I don't think she wants to be on the Iron Throne. I think she just wants to be queen in the North, and I would like that for her. I would like it if the kingdoms got to rule themselves. I mean, I don't think we're going to get anything close to a democracy, but I think that the closest we're going to come to that is the kingdoms going back to being independent.
7,
and,
there's a lot. Yeah, a lot of people have been on. People are really divided on Sansa as a character. Paige, make sure you post your question. Paige's question, Q&A. John telling his family the truth is Dany's third betrayal for love. Ooh, yeah. John said, because John stated in that situation that he loved Dany. He's like, I love you. You're my queen, but you can't just ask me to not be honest with my family. That's the truth, right? So it could be the third betrayal. Yeah. I mean, certainly we could see the next
for love.
Yeah, for love, for
betrayal for love.
And you know what Maester Aemon said to John? Duty is the death of love. Love is the death of duty. One of his most important lessons. So we could see that come to the head next episode. John Koroluich. Ooh, that's a name. Thank you, John, for the donation. Dany has shown focus for the throne based on her birthright, but why? Just because she birthed dragons? Yeah, she's been demanding the throne. Very, very, very interesting dynamics. What's been happening with Daenerys? Like, obviously, they're trying to tease this tension and this divide, and obviously, Dany's not feeling very comfortable about Jon being who he is, and the intimacy was something that we didn't really talk about with them. But Jon pulled away, right? And they talked about how they can't get it out of their heads. So I think their relationship is like, what's going to happen there, right? Is it just going to end up tragically? More than likely. So it's looking like.
I do. I think they're both tragic heroes.
Yeah. We're gonna go for another couple seconds here. Royal Chief Architect Jon could not do what Ned did for love. Jon could not lie. Ned lied for love. Oh my goodness, I love this. Dany was right. She understood Sansa's circumstances. Yeah, the promise me thing, right? And then Jon and Bran gave Jon the option. He's like, you can tell him, and he let Bran do it. So it still happened anyways. But the crazy thing about Ned Stark still having this impact so many seasons later, right? It really is going to come down to all these lessons that people have learned through their arcs, their journeys, right? Like Maester Aemon, like we talked about, and Ned, like, are they going to think about these things that they've learned from the people that meant something to them? And ultimately, that's what it comes down to, is this power and what they do with it, right? Like this is, and I think that's what we're going to see in the next episode, Courtney.
I do. I think there's going to be more power struggles. I think that there will be factions that want to put Jon on the throne. I think there'll be conflict between Jon and Dany over that, because, you know, she looked scared and nervous when she saw the way people were responding to him. And I think that, you know, as much as I understand her sentiment, wanting to get revenge for essentially her child and her best friend, you know, there are going to be people who, like, don't think that's the right approach, that even within her own team, that might work against her.
It's gonna be really crazy. Everyone dies but Podrick. The real MVP is Azor Ahai. Arya is not Sansa's personal assassin. There's so many great things that I wish we could continue to get to. There's like I wish we could stay here for hours and hours and hours. But I think let's finish with our final thoughts here, Courtney. The episode, you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it as well. Do you think the next episode will be the most crazy of the series? Will it just shit's gonna hit the fan everywhere and it's just gonna blow our minds? Is it gonna blow our?
I believe that was the episode that Dany said. Amelia Clark said in an interview.
Had a bigger TV.
She said the crazy one. And historically, Game of Thrones has tended to have the second to last episode of the season be like the gut punch, and then
have the big kind of like like the Red Wedding and all of that. Yeah,
so that would fit their pattern.
And then the last episode is kind of tying up all of these things. This future. I'm really wondering, but a lot of people said there's deaths, like there's major deaths in the finale. So that's really intriguing to me too. It's like, oh, like, okay, like maybe there's more than we think. That's, I mean, in true Game of Thrones fashion, it is called Game of Thrones. There could be, the big twist could be in the last episode. Who knows? But I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. I really, really, really appreciate all of you, and especially Courtney for staying with me after our other amazing co-hosts joined us this evening. We had a lot of fun. I can't believe, I think we had 2,400 people at once. Like, that's just absolutely absurd to me. So that really means a lot. We had a lot of fun, and thank you so much. I'm actually going to clip Phil the Issues guy. I think he's still alive. Is he still alive? Rarst is live. Let me see. I can't see. Oh, there's Phil the Issues guy. I'm going to spam Phil the Issues guy's link because he's live with his co-host right now. And you guys can check it.
Doing something after.
Joe Magician is off. I checked. I'm going to spam a link to another live stream for all you people. You can go check out some other content creators if you want to go hang out and still be merry and talk Game of Thrones. Phil is an awesome podcaster and co-host. But like I said, we really appreciate this. If you enjoyed this, subscribe to the channel and like. Courtney moderates for an awesome Facebook group. Our friend Anton, we actually both moderate for that group. So come and check us out there if you want to come hang out and talk Thrones. I'll be doing my trailer breakdown tomorrow, dropping that, and preview for the next episode, and also episode breakdown and some more videos throughout the week. So yeah, Courtney, thanks for joining me. What do you have to?
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So thanks everyone for joining us. And like I said, if you want to check out Courtney, her Twitter is in the description of this video. All my social media is there if you want to chat. And we'll see you on the next video.
Is there a link to the group? Or should I?
Yeah, no. There's a link to the Facebook group also if you want to come join the community.
Because we have a lot of fun. We have like
host
watch
memes.
Parties, and yeah, maybe we'll do one for this one.
Yeah, we'll do something for sure. But really appreciate everyone. Like I said, I'm going to post Phil the Issues guy. I'm going to spam this a few more times. Phil is an awesome creator. Say Azor Hype sends his regards, because Phil is a good friend of mine. Got to meet him at
Like Jaime Lannister sends his regards.
No. Or just say Hype and Love, because that's our thing. But thanks again, everyone. Really, really appreciate you coming tonight, and we'll see you on the next video.
Good night.
Hype and love.
Bye.